Good Tuesday morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where the performance of Veltima fungicide can take your best result even farther. I'm Joe Everett with today's Farm News. Some quick calendar reminders. The Ohio Field Leader Roadshow will be in Ottawa County tomorrow, the 30th, broadcasting from the farm of Sheldon Miller. Dusty and Sheldon will be talking about the growing season, new wetlands, and tornadoes. The Ohio Field Leader is a project of the Ohio Soybean Council and Soybean Checkoff. Then we will be at the Northwest Ohio Antique Machinery Steam Show at the Hancock County Fairgrounds on Thursday. The show runs July 31st through August 3rd. Then we will be broadcasting from the Ohio State Fair Junior Market Hog Show on Friday, thanks to Kallenbach Feeds. Well, the July Cattle on Feed report offered little relief to customers paying higher prices for beef. That's despite the cycle of herd liquidation that seems to be slowly ending. There were 94.2 million cattle and calves in the United States as of July 1st, the lowest mid-year number of cattle since 1973. The USDA also said the number of animals placed in feedlots for weight gain before being sent to packers plunged to its lowest level since 2017. Bloomberg said a severe shortage in the world's largest beef-producing country has sent cattle costs soaring, wiping out billions in profits for packers and driving record-high beef prices in the United States grocery stores. Dr. Darrell Peel at the Oklahoma State University says the latest USDA numbers offer little indication of herd rebuilding, or at least it's not very aggressive so far. The number of heifers in feedlots remain mostly stable, Peel said. Now let's check in with our own Brianna Smith for this week's Between the Rows.
This Between the Rows update is brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct. Seed Genetics Direct, business with a handshake, not a 3-year contract. It's late July and crops across Ohio are showing signs of strong progress, though recent weather and emerging issues have growers keeping a close eye on the field. Let's check in with Jay Newton in Preble County.
Everything in southwest Ohio still looks good. We're getting a good amount of precipitation regularly, and we have been just this last week or so. We were starting to look dry, but everything that we've gotten in the last few weeks has really helped keep everything green and looking nice. I have heard there's a bit of a phenomenon with the corn this year called wrap tassel. There's some possible pollination issues with the corn. I don't know how widespread that is. I heard it kind of started over in Illinois because they're further ahead of, and we're starting to see some of that in this region as well.
Next, we'll check in with Dale Miller in Northeast Ohio.
Wheat harvest is all finished up. Most of the straw has been made. A lot of fungicide application going on now on corn. Soybeans, most of the post-second applications of chemistry have been made. For the most part, weeds have been cleaned up, and, a lot of beans are starting to put pods, and then some of them early beans are starting to put beans into pods.
For the full Between the Rows update, please visit ohioagnet.com. Reporting for Ohio's Country Journal and Ohio AgNet, I'm Brianna Smith.
Hey, thanks, Brianna. Well, the United States and the European Union have agreed to a trade deal. The BBC said that it ends a standoff that lasted months between the two of the world's biggest economies. Make-or-break negotiations recently took place between President Donald Trump and the European Commission president. At the conclusion, they have agreed to a U.S. tariff of 15% on all goods from the EU, which is half of the 30% import tax rate that Trump had threatened to implement beginning on Friday. Trump added that the EU would open its 27-member bloc markets to the United States exporters with 0% tariffs on certain goods. Stay tuned. We'll be back with today's weather after this.
Hey, Ohio! Don't wait! The Ohio State Fair is here now through Sunday, August 3rd. Experience fair favorites like the Butter Cow, livestock animals, shopping, delicious food, exciting entertainment, thrilling rides, competitions, and so much more. Make memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio State Fair through August 3rd. Get your tickets at ohiostatefair.com.
If your summer road trip leads you to Ohio's farm country, be sure to share the road with Ohio's farmers. Farm machinery moves slowly, makes wide turns, and needs extra space to avoid obstacles like mailboxes and guardrails. Let's all be mindful and make sure everyone gets home safe and sound this year. This message brought to you by the Ohio AgNet, OSU Extension Ag Safety and Health Team, and this station.
You're tuning in on the Ohio AgNet. Today's weather brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's your forecast.
Very muggy again here for your Tuesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that Ohio Ag Weather Update. Triple-digit heat indices in here. We do not have any threat today of precipitation. It's just very warm and very humid. Sunshine through the entire day. So it's not necessarily very comfortable, but it is what it is. Now, as we move into tomorrow, we are going to be seeing a slight increase in precipitation potential. Your Wednesday starts with some scattered showers and thunderstorms in northwest Ohio. We're still very humid and warm over the rest of the state, but the moisture then expands out of north and western Ohio through the evening and overnight on into Thursday. So I think over the 2 days combined, Wednesday and Thursday, we can see anywhere from 0.5 to 1.5 inches of precipitation, 100% coverage across the Buckeye State. I'm super excited to announce what comes in behind that frontal boundary, though. Much cooler, much drier air as we finish out the week on Friday. It'll start Friday morning and midday in northern Ohio. May take until Friday late afternoon and evening to fully come in behind the storms in southeastern Ohio. But then Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday looking very comfortable, significantly lower humidity values, significantly lower dew points, and temperatures back in the 70s. Just a beautiful weekend overall. This continues into Monday, Tuesday of next week before temperatures start to climb and humidity values come along with them. Going through Wednesday, we see showers and thunderstorms in here and several more rounds through Thursday and Friday. Combined over the second half of next week, we can be looking at up to 2 inches of additional rain coming right here. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Now let's check out your numbers from this week's Ohio Crop Progress Report, which is sponsored by Unleaded 88. Save on fuel with the blue handle. Fill up with Unleaded 88. Discover more at ohiocornandwheat.org. Starting with the national numbers, corn silking was pegged at 76% this week. That's 1 percentage point ahead of last year's 75% and 1 percentage point below the 5-year average of 77%. Corn in the dough stage is estimated at 26% this week. That's 2 points behind last year's 28%, but 2 points ahead of the 5-year average of 24%. As for the crop condition, estimated at 73% of the corn crop was in good to excellent condition, 1 point below the previous week of 74%, and 5 points ahead of last year's 68%. As we turn to soybeans blooming were pegged at 76%, 1 point ahead of last year's 75%, and equal to the 5-year average. Soybean setting pods were estimated at 41%, 1 point behind both last year and the 5-year average of 42%. As for their crop condition, estimated that 70% of the soybeans were in good to excellent condition, up 2 percentage points from 68% the previous week, and ahead 3 percentage points to last year's 67%. As we take a quick look at winter wheat, harvest progress moved ahead another 7 percentage points last week to reach 80% complete nationwide as of Sunday. Now looking at your numbers from the Buckeye State, corn silking is at 65% this week. That's 2 points behind the 5-year average of 67%. As for corn in the dough stage, it's at 20% this week, which is 8 points ahead of the 5-year average. As for its crop condition, 62% of the corn is rated in good to excellent condition. As we turn to soybeans blooming are at 75% this week. That is 1 point ahead of the 5-year average of 74%. Soybean setting pods are rated at 39% this week. That's 3 points ahead of the 5-year average of 36%. As for their crop condition, 58% of the soybeans are rated in good to excellent condition. Well, House Ag Chair G.T. Thompson vows his panel will take up a correction to California's Proposition 12 that has forced hog producers nationwide to meet the state's sow pen size standards. The Supreme Court in 2023 narrowly upheld Prop 12 despite the Constitution's Commerce Clause and said it's up to Congress to fix the nationwide hog industry impact of California's referendum. Thompson says his committee will try to do just that after including a fix in last year's stalled farm bill.
This committee will consider a measured correction that preserves states' rights to control their internal agriculture practices, will protect interstate commerce, and preserve states' animal health regulations and laws.
The National Pork Producers Council and others fought California all the way to the Supreme Court. Council VP and Ohio producer Patrick Hord told the Ag Committee.
I am here to say that Prop 12 and an unmitigated regulatory patchwork threatens our farm. Prop 12 makes it a crime in California to sell uncooked whole pork meat from the offspring of sows that aren't raised according to the state's arbitrary housing standards.
Standards that Hord complains raise costs for producers across the country, and the American Veterinary Medical Association says don't objectively improve animal welfare. The National Pork Producers Council economist Holly Cook says producers need to sell to California's 40 million consumers, but now there's less profit in doing so.
For farms with group pen gestation systems, converting barns to be compliant may mean a 30 to 40% decline in production, a result of having fewer sows combined with reduced efficiencies. Farms may also face higher average costs for utilities, veterinary care, labor, and feed, and they'll have to spread their fixed costs out over fewer weaned pigs produced.
The same study by Iowa State and the University of Minnesota found it would take premiums of $5 to $8 per pig to break even when funding new Prop 12 compliant barns. The USDA found retail pork prices in California are now up by more than 20%, and consumption is down by double digits. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this. Get the equipment and trucks you need at the Ritchie Brothers' next Great Lakes Regional event on August 7th and 8th. This absolute unreserved auction will feature online bidding, and items are located in Columbus, Chicago, and Detroit. Choose from close to 1,000 items, including a wide selection of construction equipment, truck, tractors, and more. Don't miss Ritchie Brothers' Great Lakes Regional event on August 7th and 8th. For more details, visit rbauction.com. Again, that's rbauction.com. It's now time for today's market analysis, which is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets started the week off on a lower note as all markets were down on Monday. As we take a look back at the activity, it was interesting. As we went through the day, there were some, I would say, good news items in the marketplace. First of all, it sounds like we have the framework of an agreement together with the European Union, 15% tariffs on items, and it remains to be seen, but it sounds like a lot of the agriculture items that are going to be moving between the U.S. and the European Union may be even lower than that 15% level. So it was a good news item, I think, or at least it was not a bad news item. I was actually surprised that the market didn't take it more in stride. Also, yesterday was day one of 2 days of meetings between trade delegations from the U.S. and China in Stockholm, Sweden. And this is the one we don't have a lot of news and information on yet, but they're at least talking. Most in the industry still believe we are a ways away, time frame wise, calendar wise, from seeing a trade deal being put together with China, but the fact that everybody is talking gives a little bit of hope that maybe some kind of initial framework can be floated as well, but clearly that was not in the marketplace yesterday. The weather was in the marketplace. Good rains falling over a large part of the key growing areas of the United States. Rain makes grain in the minds of the market, and so the market moved down to kick off the Monday, and after the market was closed, we come out with the crop progress report that did show soybean condition scores gaining 2 percentage points in the good to excellent category. So if you've been keeping track at home, we were up 2 points 2 weeks ago, down 2 points last week, gave it back, and here we're back up 2 points. The crop is in very good shape across the countryside. That means more supply or strong supply, and we still have lots of questions on demand. That's what's leading to the lower numbers. I'm Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Now let's take a look at your overnight trade brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. September corn, $3.93.5, down a quarter. December new crop corn, $4.14.5, up a half. August soybeans, $9.86.25, down 2.5. November soybeans, $10.09, down 2.5. And September wheat, $5.38.25, down a quarter. Now looking at livestock from yesterday's close, August live cattle, $227.87, up $1.40. October live cattle, $224.77, up $1.62. August lean hogs, $108.52, down 17 cents. October lean hogs, $90.87, up 27 cents. And September feeder cattle, $334.55, up $2.35. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ohio AgNet.